Forget about those times your friends asked you for a favor. These animals take the cake. In this video, you'll witness some of the most hilarious and heartwarming moments where these adorable creatures prove that they're not just cute, but also surprisingly clever when it comes to getting what they want. Number 1. Saving the raven. This poor crow had fallen into the lake, but was luckily spotted by a good man. The man came to its rescue on a canoe, paddling along with another guy. They used the oars to get the drowning crow out of the water and placed it in the warm sunlight. Soon enough, it was fully dry and ready to take flight. A happy ending, I'd say. Number 2, the baby flying fox. This gray-headed flying fox was just 17 days old when she was found entangled in its mother's clutch. Unfortunately, as it turns out, the mother had received an electric shock and died. This little thing survived to tell the tale, but was too weak to get away from the mother's body. But thanks to a medical professional, this little survivor was nursed back to health, and as soon as it was healthy enough, it was sent with other flying foxes. Her mommy must have been happy to see the baby thrive. Number 3, Hitching the Elephant Out. This baby elephant got stuck in a ditch in India. Luckily, some locals and wildlife officials came to the rescue. They used an earth mover to help the little guy out, and you won't believe what happened next. The elephant family on the other side of the river watched the whole thing, and when they saw the baby was okay, they saluted the humans. Number 4, the female stray dog and her puppies. Up next is a stray dog from China. Animal Rescue was called to check on her. When they arrived, it didn't take long for them to find out that she had mild eczema on her stomach. But guess what? She was also a mother. At first, she was a bit hesitant to trust the rescue officers, but eventually she led them to a pipe where her puppies were stuck. The rescue officer lured the mother away with some food and then went inside the pipe to rescue the 5 adorable puppies, 2 boys and 3 girls. All of them were safely put into protection. Number 5, the chained dog. This poor fox terrier had horrible owners who left her in a terrible state and didn't even bother to give her a name. And to make things worse, she had developed a huge tumor on her rear end that was causing her a lot of pain. Thankfully, a rescue officer took her to the hospital where they found out that she needed surgery to remove the tumor. Once she was unchained and given some TLC, the little pup couldn't help but cry tears of relief. Hopefully, she will have a better life now. Number 6, rescuing the crocodile from the well. This crocodile somehow managed to find its way to get stuck in an empty well. Some people from a nearby village spotted it and got together to save the poor thing from dying of thirst and hunger. They tried to control it with ropes, but we all know, crocs aren't exactly the most friendly of creatures. The crocodile was fighting back out of fear, but the villagers did something pretty brave and smart. They managed to tie the rope around the crocodile, pull it out of the well, and keep it safe until they could hand it over to the authorities. Number 7, the starving stray dog. This dog had been staying at the garbage dump trying to hunt food, but to no luck. Luckily, a kind lady spotted the extremely thin and starving dog and decided to help it out. For a week, she cooked dishes for the dog and placed them regularly at the garbage dump. At first, the dog was a bit hesitant, but soon it started looking forward to the yummy treats. Just a few days later, when the woman came to feed the dog, she found it entangled in the grass nearby, so the family took it in. They gave the dog a good scrub, took it to the vet, helped it through surgery on its hind legs, and kept cooking meals for it. After about 20 days, the dog was back to its old self and ready to be released back into the wild. Number 8, the lonely stray dog. A woman was driving somewhere when she saw a dog stranded in the middle of the industrial zone. When she got closer to the dog, she realized that it had been tied to a pole with a metal wire. On the spot, she decided to take the dog home and give it the help it needed. Obviously, the dog was terrified at first, but after having a clean bath, good food, and a soft bed, it didn't take long for it to lose its hesitation and even became friendly with the woman. Number 9. The Defenseless group of tortoises. These were around 108 tortoise groups stuck in a well, and with all the rain, the dirt turned into mud, which made it even harder for them to escape. But thankfully, Animal Rescue came to the recovery and went down into the well to fish out the little guys. They even had to dig out the ones that had buried themselves in their shells because they were scared. Luckily, they were all safely taken to a nearby lake where they could swim to their heart's content. Number 10. The trapped hawk. This poor hawk had its claws entangled in the fishing lines. When a nearby traveler spotted the hawk trying to free itself, he pulled out the cutters to break the wires. You can just see the hawk's gratefulness in its eyes. After a few minutes of toying around with the wires, the guy was able to set the hawk free. There it goes, back where it belongs. Number 11. The Freezing Kitten. On a chilly day in Istanbul, a lost kitten was wandering around looking for some warmth. And guess what? It found a photographer who was just hanging out nearby. The little furball went right up to the guy and started playing around with his legs. Looks like he was chosen by the cat distribution system. After getting some pets, the kitten snuggled up on the guy's legs, trying to keep warm. The guy put the kitten in his coat, hoping to find its mom, but no luck. So he took the kitten back to his place and gave it some food and a cozy spot to rest. How sweet is that? Number 12. Rescuing the Raccoons. This guy heard some rustling coming from the garbage can. He went to check it out and found 3 raccoons stuck inside it. Poor little guys. The guy looked for a wooden stick and tried to place it inside the can. And what do you know? The raccoons grabbed the stick and slowly climbed out of the can. They hurried off into the forest, but not before giving their rescuer a thankful look. Number 13. The Stranded Seal. These 2 guys were exploring the shoreline when they stumbled upon a baby seal hidden away in the dried bushes. They tried to call out to see if it was stranded, but the seal pup just looked back at them in fear. One of the guys was feeling brave, so he went ahead and grabbed the pup by the neck. Together, they carried the seal back to the ocean and gently placed it near the waves. As soon as the baby seal saw the ocean, it got all excited and started flapping around like crazy, before diving straight into the water right where it belonged. Number 14. Killer whale trapped in ice. This killer whale had fallen prey to the ice and could not make a gentle escape. The divers spotted the shiny black fin and called for animal rescue. They went out into the freezing cold water and managed to clear away the ice that was blocking the whale's path, and were successful in freeing the killer whale and sending it back out into the open ocean. Number 15. The leopard in the metal pot. This helpless leopard had its head stuck inside a metal pot. The brave Indian people tried to assess how to rescue the animal. They had to be careful, though, because the poor leopard was really scared. They managed to calm it down and give it a tranquilizer so they could safely remove the pot from its head. Number 16. The drowning dog. 2 vloggers had been out filming in an abandoned park when they noticed 2 dogs coming their way. Both of them were wagging their tails at them, probably trying to tell them something. When the dogs found that the vloggers were nice enough to pat them, they led the duo to an abandoned swimming pool. Another dog had been splashing around, trying to get out of the water. Luckily, the boys had spotted it in time and went straight inside to save the dog from drowning in the kiddie pool. Talk about being at the right place at the right time. Number 17. The lost dog. This poor dog had somehow found its way to the cliff's edge. It could neither go forward nor climb back up. A team of firefighters was called to the location and spent hours trying to figure out its escape plan. In the end, they came up with a plan to use a net and lure the dog towards them. It wasn't easy, but they managed to carefully carry the dog out of there and save it from a horrible fate. Number 18. Wolf in coyote traps. A wolf had managed to get himself entangled in the coyote traps. Some people noticed the wolf trying to free itself from the wires and rushed right away to help it out. They used their expert skills to help the wolf get untangled from the trap. Once the wolf was free, it quickly got up and rushed back into the wild. Number 19. The dog asks man to save its babies. A dog was a regular visitor at this man's house. One day, the dog seemed to be asking the man to follow her somewhere. Curious, the man decided to follow her and found her puppies under a dry bush on a rainy day. Poor little pups were completely soaked, but the man didn't hesitate and quickly got a box to safely place the puppies in. He then brought the dog and her puppies home with him. Number 20. The pufferfish stuck in the fishing line. This amazing rescue comes from deep inside the ocean. 2 divers were out for a swim in the sea when they noticed a pufferfish floating around them, trying to get the divers' attention. It didn't take long for the divers to find a hook that had been stuck inside the pufferfish's mouth. It even had a long fishing line attached to it. Although the divers couldn't bring themselves to remove the hook, they did untangle the fishing line to set him free. Even though he still had the hook in his mouth, the pufferfish seemed pretty grateful and swam away happily. Number 21. Saving the drowning kitten. The animal rescue team received an urgent call from a truck driver saying that he saw someone throw a box of kittens in the river. Anyway, the rescue team rushed to the location and heard one of the kittens crying out for help. They managed to save it, but unfortunately, they couldn't find the other kittens. It's so sad, but at least they were able to save one of them. Number 22. The stranded python. A python had somehow found its way from the jungle into a house. It was stuck on the roof. The rescue team was called out of fear. They carefully directed the python onto the roof of the house and cornered it into a bag. Seeing that it was safely tucked away, they went to the jungle and released the python back to its home. Number 23. Rescuing the giraffe. A group of people were heading to work on a farm when they spotted a giraffe lying on its back with its hooves stuck in an electric fence. The group got out and clipped the fence carefully. They carefully clipped the fence, but the giraffe was pretty upset at first, probably because it was in pain. Even after they freed it from the fence, the giraffe was still on its side and couldn't get up. So they got creative and gave it a little nudge with some sticks. And what do you know? The giraffe jumped up and ran away, happy to be free at last. Number 24. The hurt sea lion. A group was out on their boat driving along the coast of Laguna Beach in California when they saw a sea lion swimming towards them. But to their surprise, when the sea lion got closer, it kept moving its head above the boat to catch their attention. One of the guys on the boat, feeling bad for the little guy, and set up a staircase for the sea lion to climb onto the boat. Turns out, they later found a head wound on the sea lion. Not to mention, it was malnourished to the point that its ribs were visible. So, the group decided to do the right thing and took the cute little sea lion to the hospital to get treated. Number 25. Saving the deer. Stuck in the canal. This deer fell into a canal while trying to drink some water. Poor thing couldn't get out because of the walls being too steep. To make things worse, she got stuck in the pipes. Luckily, the rescue team came to the rescue and tried to guide her out with a cloth, but that didn't work, as she was stuck too badly. So, one of the people decided to jump in and tie a cloth around her belly and ropes around her legs. Then, a bunch of people lifted her out and took her for a medical checkup. Number 26. Turtle saved from a shark. This next rescue is both dangerous and unreal. A bunch of friends were out on their boat in the middle of the ocean, and they spotted a shark on the surface of the water. They moved closer to check it out, and then they saw a turtle fighting for its life against the shark. Can you imagine that? The group was first shocked, but then jumped in to save the turtle. The shark had even tried to bite the turtle by cornering it near the boat, but the efforts were in vain. They used a spear to move the shark away. After successfully isolating the turtle, they pulled it out of the ocean. What a dangerous situation, but they handled it like pros. Number 27. Saving the red sand boa. A red sand boa had been stuck in the ditch, so the rescue team was called to remove it. They first attempted to remove small chunks of the rock around the snake to get better access. Once the path was clear, the officers grabbed the snake and pulled it out. Turns out it was a harmless snake that had accidentally ended up in the ditch. So the officers took it to the forest and released it back into the wild. All's well that ends well, right? Number 28. Saving the abandoned dog. This guy was just walking down the street when he saw this cute dog stranded in the middle of the road. The dog seemed so happy to see him and kept wagging its tail, trying to get his attention. He looked around to see if the owner was nearby, but there was no one in sight. So he decided to take matters into his own hands and brought the dog with him in his truck. The dog looks thrilled to have found a new friend and looks like he is enjoying all the pats and scratches he was getting. Number 29. The dangerous jackal got stuck in the well. Another story of animals getting stuck inside wells is that this one is a dangerous rescue. A jackal had fallen inside the well and was moving around nervously. Some villagers called for a rescue team to help. One of the rescuers even got on top of a string bed and was lowered down into the well to save the poor animal. But the jackal was so scared that it thought the rescuer was trying to attack it, and it started to get aggressive. Finally, the rescue officer was able to pin the jackal down and tie a cloth around its mouth to prevent any injuries. Once tied down, the guy got out, and the string bed was pulled out of the well by the villagers and the rescue team together. The jackal was put towards the side of the field, and the rescue team slowly untied the ropes from the other end. When they untied the ropes, the jackal broke free and ran towards its freedom. Number 30, Manatee stuck on the shore. A manatee had been pulled to the shore by the unfortunate waves. You can just see the look of helplessness on its face. Some people came to its rescue. They brought a bag and placed it carefully inside so they could transport it to the ocean, back to safety. Luckily, they got the manatee back to its home in time. Number 31, saving the duck trapped in ice. A family was out exploring the snow when they spotted a black duck stuck in the ice. Apparently, a hurricane had caused this unfortunate event. They quickly decided to help the poor bird, and while one person held it gently, the other tried to break the ice. It took some effort, but finally, they managed to free the duck from the snowfield. They then released the duck into the sea, where it happily swam away. Number 32, releasing the small octopus back into the sea. The sea had brought the small octopus onto the shore, where it became trapped in the sand. A passerby saw the animal stuck and placed it carefully inside the bucket. He then took it straight to the ocean and released it back into the water. It was so cool to see the octopus come to life again, spreading its tentacles and thanking the guy by tapping on his boots. Number 33, rescuing the baby squirrel. This grandma taking a walk in the park when she spotted a baby squirrel tangled up in some fishing lines. She called out to a group of boys nearby, and they quickly came to help. The little animal was completely stuck, and they couldn't free it on the spot, so they took it back to their hangout. Luckily, they found some scissors and managed to cut the wires and set the squirrel free. The baby squirrel was super happy about being rescued and didn't even try to run away from its new friends. It knew it was in good hands. Number 34, weakened homeless dog rescued in heavy snow. The rescue team received a call about a homeless dog wandering near the river. It had been lost and was heavily soaked due to the snowfall. The team went to the location and found the dog shivering. They first tried to connect with the dog so it would feel comfortable coming with them. Once it warmed up to them, they took it under their care and tried to warm it up. Later, it was taken to the vet for a medical checkup. After everything was cleared and the dog was fed, it was released back into society. Number 35, saving the infant kitten. A woman driving on the highway noticed a black spot in the middle of the road. Fearing that it was an animal, she stopped on the side of the highway and noticed it was a small kitten. So she pulled over to the side of the road and waited for the traffic to slow down. As soon as it was safe, she walked towards it. And guess what? It was a tiny little kitten, and it was just a few days old. She immediately took it back to safety in her car. Hopefully, this kitten found a new home. Number 36, the Dehydrated Moose. A group of bikers had been out on a hot day when they spotted a moose nearby. They stopped to look at it and found that it was severely dehydrated. Having a water bottle in their hands, they helped the moose drink water. It stared back at the bikers with a grateful look and pleasantly took large sips of water. That right there is yet another life saved. All of these were because of the bravery of some humans in helping the poor animals in need. Do you have a story where the animal asked for your help? Let us know in the comments. Make sure that you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.